Okay, class, here is the 1A simulation exam. Like I said, each of us are going to do a part of this, which I will assign. So here we go. They're all in order, so I can launch all. All right, so here's our sheet. So we're told to go to B4, and we're going to type, and enter. In B5, we're going to type group. Helps if I can type. In A12, we're going to type percussion ensemble. In A13, wants us to type a P and see the percussion ensemble shows up, and then finish by typing piano / keyboard and enter. So for step 3, we want to type in C4, January. Again, I can't type. And it wants us to maintain C4 as active, so hit the check mark in the formula bar. Now it wants us to use the fill handle to fill in D4 to E4. So we're January, February, March. We want to set the width of column A to 21.43 or 155 pixels. So I right click and go to column width, and I type 21.43. I know our exercise used the ribbon, but it's just as easy to do that. Now we want to select C4 through E4. We want to center it, so I click and drag, and then I hit the center button on alignment. Alright, so in cell C5, we're going to type 18. In D5, we're going to type 18. And 17 in E5. 26 in C6. 28 in D6. And 28 in E6. Now we want to create a formula that will add up the values we just typed in. So in F5, we want to add C5 through E5. So we're going to go equal. It wants us to type it, not use a function or anything. C5 plus D5 plus E5, and enter. In F6, we're going to use the point and click method to enter a formula that adds C6 through E6. So we go up to our formula bar and hit FX. That helps if I go to right one, F6. I was nowhere near F6. So we want sum, which is here. We can double click it. And we want C6 through E6, which is perfect the way we have it. And we hit OK. Now in C20, enter a function to sum the values in that. I can just hit the autofill, the auto sum, I should say, hit enter, and 1.6 is done. Now 1.7 is copying a formula and using the fill handle. So in cell D20, we're going to use a shortcut, keyboard shortcut, to enter a sum function that adds D5 through D19. Well, I don't remember that, so I'm going to have to look that up real quick. So it's going to be the Alt key plus the equal key, which I'll do here. And we'll hit enter. And I'm going to use my fill handle to copy the formula from D20 to E20 and F20. And I didn't get it. There we go. Now 1.8 we're going to merge in center. So we're going to highlight A1 through J1. And we're going to use our merge in center button. And we're going to apply the title style to A1 through J1. We can go to cell styles and choose title under titles and heading. We're going to merge in center A2 through J2. And we're going to apply heading 2 to that. So cell styles, heading 2. Now we're going to select A4 through F4. And A5 through A9. So highlight the first range. So A4 through F4. And then control A5 through A19. And we're going to apply headings 4 style. So back up the styles in our home ribbon. And it wants heading 4. And that's it for 1.8. So for 1.9, we're going to format some cells. So we want G5. We want to make that number format. So we go out to our ribbon. Under the number category, just hit the $sign. And now G6 through G19, we want to highlight and use the comma number format. And it's just a comma under the number section in our ribbon. And we want the total style for B20 through G20. Highlight that range, back to cell styles, under titles and headings, we do total, and we're done. So 1.10, we want to change our worksheet theme to Wisp. So if we go to page layout, themes is all the way on the left, so we click the more button, and we look for Wisp, which is in our second column, third row. That's it for 1.10. Now 1.11, we're going to build a chart. So we want to select A5 through E19, A5 through E19. And we're going to use the recommended chart feature. So insert recommended chart. And it wants us to do the third suggestion, clustered column chart. and hit OK. Now we want to add the title Q1 enrollment to our chart, so we click inside our text box area to where it says chart title and type in Q1 enrollment. I guess it doesn't want that. And we click outside the title after we're done with that. Now we want to change the chart style to style 3. So if we remember, our chart styles button is the one that looks like a paintbrush. We click it. Title 3 is our third one. And then we want to change the color palette to number 3. Colorful palette 3. Now we're going to position the chart so that the upper left corner aligns with the upper left corner of A22. So we get our cross where our cursor is. We drag it down to the corner where A22 is. And 112 is done. Now we're going to create some spark lines. So we're going to highlight C5 through E19. And we want to insert a line type spark line. So we go to Insert, to our spark line section of our ribbon, and click Line. C5 through, oh, I went to F19, sorry. C5 to E5 and to E19. Now we can do line. And we want to put our range as J5 through J19 by clicking that there, or you could type it, but doing it this way gives you the absolute value. And we're going to hit OK. There's our spark lines. And now we want to show markers for the spark lines. So in our spark line ribbon, over to the left where it says show, we want to click markers. And we want to set the style, which is right in the middle of our sparkline menu, to colorful 4, says the 4th column, and the 6th option. And that's it for 113. So now we're being told to center the worksheet on the page horizontally. Do not close the page setup dialog box. So sorry about that. So center the worksheet on the page horizontally. So I'm going to go to page layout and expand it. I'm going to flip over to margins. And I'm going to center it on page horizontally. And then we're going to go over to header and footer. And for footer, we want to go to custom footer. And then in our left section, we want the file name, which is the icon that looks like Excel. And we can go OK and OK. And we're done with 114. So 115 wants us to go into the document properties. So we do so by going to the Backstage view under File. And we're going to go Options. And we're going to go Info. Sorry. We're going to show all properties. And we're going to tag it enrollment. And close the view. And now we're going to go back to our Backstage view and go to Print. And now we want to print a selection of our worksheet. So We're back on our sheet. We're going to go from A4 to F20. We're going to go to File, Print. Where it says Print Active Selection, we're going to go to Print Entire Workbook. Not Print Entire Workbook, sorry. Print Selection. And Print. Now we're being told to display our formulas. So if we go into So continuing on to 117, we want to display the formulas. So we're going to go to Formulas and then Show Formulas. Then we're going to select columns A through E and auto fit them, so we can choose any intersection between the two columns, get our dark cross, and double click. We're going to set our orientation to landscape. So go to Page Layout, Orientation, Landscape. We're going to set the scaling of the worksheet to a width of 1 page. So our scaling is right next to Page Setup. Width, we're going to hit down and go to 1 page. And our assignment is complete.